Hello everybody! Salty Sweet Ren back with another episode of Swooning Over Stans, a Grunkle dating sim. And I'm still in the middle of the Stan route. Last time was just a casual little pancakes get together, and everything kind of went okay, except that Stan apparently is into us now. Just a little bit at least, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been over 2 weeks since I last picked up this game, honestly. Episodes should be coming out every week still, but I haven't had much of a chance to record because right now it is 12:30 a.m. My whole family's been home. It's hard for me to find times to record, and it's hard for me to do Stan's voice without being loud, so I had to wait until everyone was upstairs, and hopefully I'll be able to get through this without waking them up, because I'm all the way in the basement, so let's hope that this is enough to keep them from waking up. Anyway, I don't know what happens next. The title of this part is called Crime Spree in the save file. So I'm very curious to know what this crime spree is. So let's get into it. Over the next few days, you continue to help out around the Mystery Shack. Not out of obligation, but because you have nothing better to do. Besides, Zeus, practically the golden retriever of people, is really digging the input on the current installments from an outsider's perspective. Bless his soul, the guy even offered you a job if you end up stranded here forever, dude, and need to make a life for yourself. Stan nearly choked on his ice pop as he overheard. Thinking about it now, the relationship between Zeus and Stan is unexpected, if not a little odd, but it makes you smile. It makes you smile that no matter how many times Stan may roll his eyes as he does it, he'll always help Zeus get something done just right. Showered and dressed, you go outside as per usual, but don't see anyone. After a few minutes search, you find Stan standing with his back to you in one of the exhibit rooms, admiring the weird and wonderful animal amalgamates he's collected for his tourist trap, hand at his chin in thought. Yeah, this is already different. I think in the Ford route, I should probably go back and watch that again, but back in the Ford route, like, you would encounter Dipper and Ford in the living room playing Dungeons, and more Dungeons, which I actually now know more about it through Dungeons and Dragons. I've actually started playing it, so that's fun. Anyway, am I interrupting something important between you and the gooserky? Stan turns at the sound of your voice, smiling. Nope, you need something? You have any plans tonight? He mulls your question over for a few moments, giving you an assessing look up and down. I've got a couple errands to run. Why? You want to tag along? Huh. Okay, sure, sounds like fun. Only if you need a partner in crime. Depends what kind of errands you got in mind. Or actually, I'm gonna go see what Ford's up to today. I've already done Ford's route, so... I mean... realistically, be like, what kind of errands? But I feel like this would get the best response, but just a sure, sounds like fun, like... I'm doing this as myself, but the same, well, this is it, but I also want to get at least a decent result, you know? I'll say sure, sounds like fun. I don't know, sure. Alright, I'm heading out in a couple hours. Meet me out front. A couple of hours, but... No buts, Ren. You can't rush this stuff, trust me. Okay, sure. Not ominous at all, Stan. Yeah, meet me out front if you think you can handle it. He turns to go, but stops for a second and then turns back. Oh, and wear black. Something you don't mind getting dirty. And off he goes. And before you can ask why, he's gone into the depths of the shack. Thankfully, I have plenty of black clothes, so that shouldn't be an issue. A couple of hours turn into a handful, which you pass by watching some TV with Mabel and Dipper and dozing off. You have no idea what kind of satellite they get out here, but the shows on now are some of the most bizarre programming you've ever seen. I actually would be very interested in watching Detective, I believe, but I don't know. Once you've had enough of waiting, you change into your darkest clothes and sit down on the front steps of the shack, waiting as the sun starts to sink past the trees. It's cloudy and unusually warm for this time of day, but there's a nice breeze out. It's strange that these errands need to happen so late in the day. Considering the things you've gathered about his criminal past, however, this may be a typical weekday night for Stan. The door creaks and out comes Stan, dressed in all black like you are, with a lumpy duffel bag under one arm and a briefcase in the other hand. He's about to speak. As he's about to speak, a sudden gust of wind comes along and ruffles his hair, and he smooths it down irritatedly before regaining his cool and nodding at you. Ready? Ready. You slide into the passenger seat as Stan settles into the driver's seat. It takes a couple tries to start, but the engine's chugging away by the time you've got your seatbelt on. The radio stammers to life as the engine does, spitting out generic-sounding rock music into the leather-scented air of the car's interior. I'm gonna get a quick drink as I let this go on. After a moment spent adjusting mirrors and fiddling with knobs, Stan slots the gear shift into drive and pulls out of the Mystery Shack's lot and down the road to town. Oh, hey. What, was there something in the trees back there? I just saw something. I was just like admiring the trees and I just saw something there. Like periodically, it's like a repeating thing, but there's like, it looks like a broken tree and then something sitting in the broken tree. It's kind of ominous to me. I'm a little scared of that, not gonna lie. I don't know what that is. Anyway, I'm getting very distracted by that whatever it is. I gotta get back to the game. The radio's on, and Stan taps his fingers on the steering wheel to the beat of the music while he drives. So, I take it we're not making a quick trip for milk and eggs? He laughs and glances over at you. Nope. Then where are we going? First stop is to see a buddy of mine, a hunter. I get all my taxidermy supplies from him. So that's where you get your parts from? Yeah? Oh, I just figured you got them off a local farm or something. And do business with those hippies? Not a chance! Well, I really enjoyed making that showpiece with you the other day. I had no idea you were so creative. He glances over at you with poorly hidden surprise, turning almost immediately back to the road and shrugging. It's just gluing stuff together, really. Well, the storytelling and everything does take a lot of skill, and I do admire that. And knowing how to piece things together so to make some sort of vaguely cohesive sense, like... I mean, it does take a lot of skill in that sense, so... You have a real gift for it. He turns to you again, and his chinks go a little pink when he sees the smile you're giving him. Well, thanks. After a moment, he faces the road again, but now he's tapping out the rhythm of the song with a little more enthusiasm and even humming the chorus as he drives. Do you have any other hobbies? He rolls his shoulders back in a shrug, his head tilting off a bit towards the window. These days I spend most of my time out on the boat with Ford, hunting monsters, discovering things. He pauses, watching the road without expression. I used to box. Really? I wouldn't mind showing you a few things, if you wanted. I don't think I'd be any good at it, but... Truthfully, I'd be horrible at it. But it could be fun? Oh, I don't think I'd be any good at it. Hey, with me teaching you, you'll be throwing a mean left hook in no time! After about 20 minutes of rural scenery, Stan pulls off the road and onto a long gravel driveway that disappears into the woods. Is this the place? Stan nods and rounds a turn to reveal a clearing populated by a trailer home and a couple sheds, The trailer is a bit rundown and shabby, and one of the sheds looks like it's about one strong sneeze from collapsing. Not really the place you want to be at night, while alone with a guy you practically just met. Be honest, did you bring me here to murder me? Stan laughs, cutting the engine and resting his arm on the back of the front seat. Unfortunately, you figured it out, so now I definitely gotta kill ya. I'm kidding, kid. Relax. I'm losing the voice. I'm trying to stay quiet enough that I don't wake everyone up. My throat's not hurting. It's just hard to maintain at this volume. He moves to get out of the car, then turns back with a creepy blank expression on his face. Or am I? You chuckle nervously and he laughs again, pushing the door open. Seriously, I'm kidding. Won't be long. At the door to the trailer, Stan knocks, and the door opens on a dark interior before he walks inside. The door shuts behind him. You give the yard a few curious glances before realizing that the weird pile of sticks you'd been looking at is actually bones. You quickly pull out your phone to look at instead. 10 minutes later, and Stan's back, carrying a large cardboard box in both hands. You see him fumble with the handle of the rear left door for a moment before you reach over the back seat and pop it open for him. A peek in the box reveals a few various shades of furry somethings and an animal skull you don't recognize. This doesn't seem like something worth busting out all your darkest duds for. We aren't by any chance robbing a bank, are we? Because I would have brought gloves. Stan laughs. No, nothing like that. He starts the car up again, and you're back on the road. Somehow, I'm not quite convinced. Well, who knows where the night's gonna take us? Could be legal, could be not. Got a problem? I mean... depends on if he's being serious. I would probably think maybe it's partly a joke and just be like, no, probably not. One in Rome, right? Stan takes the highway. The final minutes of the sunset's burnt orange and purple ahead of you, while the welcome sign for Gravity Falls disappears into the rearview mirror. A new song comes on the radio, something bright and bouncy with lyrics about love, and his fingers get back to tapping. In the retreating light, you can see the faded patches on the rim of the steering wheel, the color worn away from decades worth of his touch. The passenger seat you sit in hasn't taken on the shape of someone specific. Even after all this time, the springs still feel brand new. Meanwhile, on the driver's side of the car, Stan settled easily into his seat, which fits him as well as a finely tailored jacket. You tuck your leg up under its mate, leaning back into the dark leather of the DeVille's interior, and watch cars pass and recede out the windshield. After a few minutes of music-backed silence, you feel like breaking it. I could ask about his car. I'm hearing people upstairs, I think. I'll have to keep it quiet, so. Ask about his car. Oh, the Stanmobile here? Stan passed the dashboard affectionately, running his hand over the leather interior. I've had her since high school. Nice ride, ain't she? They really don't make them like they used to, do they, I guess? Nope, they sure don't. I could ask about him. You from Oregon originally? Nah, I'm from out east. Jersey, a little town called Glassyard Beach. Ah, yes. Name your town after something dangerous. That'll bring the tourists in. You'd be surprised. What's it like? He shrugs. Well, why move out here? That's a long story. His voice is quiet, and he watches the road ahead with intense focus. but the expression doesn't last long before he brightens and smiles over at you.
You don't want to hear it anyways.
Okay, tell a joke maybe? Why are there fences around graveyards? Sounds kinda gothy, so I think I'd go with that one. Stan glances over at you, double checking that this is a setup to a joke.
I don't know why.
'Cause people are dying to get in. Stan laughs.
Ha! That's pretty good!
He thinks for a minute, presumably to come up with a joke of his own.
Alright, a blonde walks into a bank in New York City.
Oh no, this isn't gonna be one of those awful blondes or dumb jokes, is it? He levels a withering look on you.
Can I tell the joke?
I don't know. Can you? You grin with your lower lip caught between your teeth, clearly joking, and he chuckles.
Anyway, blonde walks into a bank in New York. She goes up to the bank manager and she says, I'd like to take out a loan for $5,000. I'm taking a vacation overseas.
A car passes you on the highway going 20 over the speed limit, and Stan swears, then stifles it.
Yeesh, night drivers. So the bank manager goes, well, miss, do you have collateral? We need collateral for that kind of loan. And she nods and says she does. And she takes the bank manager out to the parking lot where she's got a $50,000 Ferrari waiting, and she says, this is my car. You can hold on to it until I pay back my loan.
Stan continues, glancing over at you and trying to suppress a smile.
The bank manager is confused, but he figures if this lady doesn't pay, he's gonna have a nice new Ferrari in his garage, so he agrees.
A sign for an exit ahead points off to the right, the text reading County Road 328, and Stan takes it off the highway.
So he gives the blonde her 5 Gs, she hands him the keys to her car, and she heads off to Europe. A month later, she shows back up at the bank with the 5 Gs and the interest for the loan, which figures out to about $15.
Stan continues, turning down an unlit gravel road, the headlights casting spooky shadows through the trees. The bank manager takes the repayment for the loan and I gotta do the Stan voice.
The bank manager takes the repayment for the loan and the interest and has one of his employees bring the car out in front of the bank for the blonde.
Out ahead on the road, a deer turns its face to the car, then leaps across the road to disappear into the woods. They're putting a lot of thought into, all the ambient stuff going on around this drive in the middle of this joke.
Just before she leaves, the bank manager stops the blonde and says, Lady, I'm real confused here. You're clearly loaded enough to afford this car, and you paid back the loan and then some. Why take out the loan if you're so rich? And the lady turns to him, runs a hand through her hair, and says,
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it now.
Where else can I park my car in New York City for 2 weeks for only $15?
That is clever, honestly. It is kind of funny, yeah. You burst into wild laughter, and he laughs along with you. Alright, I take it back. That was the best blonde joke I've ever heard in my life. Just as you finish speaking, Stan pulls off to the side of the road and the engine dies. As you step out of the car, the unearthly silence of the woods envelops the two of you. Out in the woods ahead, you see a single bright light. Is this the place?
Just about.
You follow him back towards the trunk, which he opens quietly and slowly, frowning as it squeaks. What are we doing here?
You might not guess it looking at me, but I got a thing.
The two of you stare at each other for a moment, and he looks a little nervous.
For art.
Hey, I like art too, that's cool. He brightens, smiling in the dim haze of the trunk light.
Well, this chump up on this hill here has one by this one artist, Gustav Kloning. Snuck it right out from under me at an auction. I've been trying to buy it off him for years, but the jerk won't sell no matter how much I offer him. And trust me, you meet this guy, you know it's out of spite.
I can't keep up the Stan voice at this volume. I have been going for about 20 minutes now. This may be cutting the episode kind of short. I'll get through this scene here, and when it changes to another scene, I'll probably wrap it up. So we're stealing it?
You got it, kid.
I mean, you did try to buy it first.
Exactly.
Stan laughs quietly, fishing around in the duffel bag for you don't know what.
Wait till they see it. It's a masterpiece. I've been waiting 6 months for him to go out of town. Here, take these.
He pulls a pair of gloves from the bag, handing them to you. When you slide them on, they fit almost perfectly.
I guess your size right?
You nod, wiggling your fingers. Stan chuckles, pulling on a pair of his own, a set of black leather driving gloves with silver snap closures that glint in the light from the trunk.
You ready, kid?
As I'll ever be. Stan tucks a few things into the inner pockets of his jacket that you can't see in the low light, and with the trunk shut just as quietly as it was opened, you follow him up into the woods towards the distant light. As you near it, a porch takes shape within the light's glow. Behind it, the dark shape of a house sits in the ever-darker woods. Stan leads you past the front porch and around the corner of the house, to a set of stairs that appears to lead into a basement.
Ah, this is my favorite part.
He withdraws a small black shape from his pocket and something that looks like it might be a pen. The pen-shaped thing turns out to be a small flashlight, and he holds it in his teeth as he opens the black case to reveal a set of lock-picking tools. Oh.
You're a lucky person, kid. You get to see the artist in action.
He gets to work, inserting one tool in and wiggling it down at the bottom of the keyhole, then pulling out another and poking the innards of the lock with it. You glance around the darkness as he works, half expecting to get caught before you get anywhere, but then the lock clicks and Stan stands, opening the door for you with a flourish. And that was a lot quicker than I expected, I suppose. He beams with pride, and you smile politely as you step through the door in front of him. And this is where I'm gonna end off tonight's episode. I don't know how much longer this part is going to take, and my throat can't handle too much more of the Stan voice at this volume. So I'm gonna wrap this episode up here. So if you guys enjoyed watching this video, please hit like and leave a comment down below telling me if you want me to continue this series. Tell me what your thoughts are, if I should change anything about what I'm doing, if you have any tips or advice for the future even, I suppose, if you've played this game before. Who knows? But anyway, go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to see episodes coming out in the future. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there, friends.